What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Footy with an Edge. We're here today for another live call-in show. It's a little bit later than usual because I'm trying out a new time slot just to see if a few more people are available during this time. I believe it's 8 p.m. in the UK, maybe a little bit later or earlier in Africa and some other time zones. So we're just trying it out, right? Let me know. First of all, smash a like on the video, and let me know in the comments down below what you think about this new time slot. But we're here to talk about how Amorim can solve for AFCON, right? And I have a lot of thoughts. I've looked at the entire youth team lineup. There was a set of 8 youth team players that was called up to the first team to train, I think 2 weeks ago. So we have some interesting sort of how should I put this? We have some interesting profiles of players to look at and try to figure out if any of these guys can fit within our team and what they can provide in the team, right? And I think some of you guys have watched the youth team a lot more than I have even, so it'd be interesting to see what's going on here. So let me just put this up on screen. There we go. So these are the players that are going to leave for AFCON, right? It's going to be Mbumo, it's going to be Ahmad, and it's going to be Mazraoui. Now, the reason I've put Mazraoui in the team here over Euro is because in recent weeks, we've seen that Mazraoui has been a little bit more trustworthy on the ball. Even though we want Euro to be the ultimate air on the ball, he looks a little uncomfortable, right? He looks like he might struggle with any pressure that's put on him, right? So against pressing teams, he looks a little bit uncomfortable. And we saw when Mazraoui came on, even Amorim felt a little bit more comfortable. I think the fans that are watching didn't really feel some type of way about him being in the team. So the question is, how do we replace Mbumo, Ahmad, and Mazraoui? Now, these are the options, right? So what I want you guys to pay attention to is on the right-hand side, we have Cheeto OB, we have Sam Mather, we have Bandito Montato, Shea Lacey as the let's say the wingers, the wingbacks, or the strikers. I think Cheeto OB is the only one that can play at striker. But Sam Mather is a winger, a right-footed winger that can play on both sides. We have Bandito Montato, who has played as fullback for the youth team a lot, and he seems ready, right, to come and step into the team. We have Shea Lacey, who's been touted as a very good winger through the youth system, and he is also left-footed. So he could be a good sort of someone that can come in and play for Ahmad, maybe. And then in the midfielders, we have Jim Thwaites, who's been, called the Iniesta of the youth team, if you will. Very good on the ball, very press resistant. We have Tyler Fletcher, who's one of Darren Fletcher's sons, who also seems really good, right? So potentially something that he can do in the midfield for us, on top of as a replacement for Bruno or Casemiro. And we have Jacob Devaney, who I think is more of a defensive midfielder. So he's also a potential shout. And then Reese Monroe is another player that was called up to the first team training, who's more of a center back, right? So these are kind of the interesting combinations that we have available from the youth setup. And then from the first team, we have the strikers, the 10s, and the wingbacks being Xerxes, Mount, Dorgu, Diego Leon, and Tyrell Malacia, right? So let's not forget about Malacia. Then we have Menu and Ugarte as the midfielders, and we have Euro, Licha, and Maguire as the defenders, and the sort of young, more developmental center backs would be Fredrickson and Heaven. So the question is, who is Amorim going to trust to come fill the holes in this team? Now, in my personal opinion, this right 10 spot is prime for Mount to come in. So if we take Mbumo out of here for a second, in my opinion, it's going to be Mount every day of the week, right? And it could be Mount on the left, Cooney on the right, again, depending on what Amorim sees as like the tendencies that he wants to exploit on the left hand side or the right hand side. And the reason why I don't think it's going to be a Xerxes is because his defensive work rate is suspect, right? Let's not forget, to start the season off, Amorim wasn't happy with Cunha's defensive work rate. And that's why he actually dropped him for the Sunderland game. And that's why Mount started on the left-hand side. And in the previous games, like the Arsenal game that Cunha played, he played as the starting 9, and he had a little bit less defensive responsibility. So Cunha has just stepped up his defensive work in the last few games, and that's why he's earned that spot in the left or right 10. And Mount can also give us that, but Xerxes is a question mark in terms of the work rate that he can give us. So I would say instead of Mbumo, Mount is the one that makes sense on the right hand side. The reason why it won't be Mainu is because I don't think he sees him as attacking enough for the 10 or defensive enough for the 8 role. So I think the only way Mainu gets into the team is off the bench for Casemiro or Bruno, especially when we're starting to play in the FA Cup and things like that. Unless Mainu does a madness in training and really improves his defensive work rate, and also improves his passing a lot, and then he can get into the 8. Because I don't think, some people want to say, oh, move Bruno up to the 10 and play Mainu in that position. I think we're dreaming a little bit, guys, because if he moves Bruno out of this position and plays him in the 10, what happens when AFCON is done and now Bruno hasn't played that position for 8 games or 2 months? He sees Bruno as his number 8. He's going to want to give him the whole season in that position, unless we go to the transfer window and buy him a different player that works better. And in that case, I can see Bruno moving up. But for AFCON specifically, I don't think this is a problem that's going to be solved by moving Bruno out of position. Let me know what you guys think. Rishi says Mount might as well be at AFCON with his injury issues. Unpredictable. Yeah, right. I mean, look, that's a great point. The problem we have. Hello, can you guys still hear me? Can you guys comment? Leave a comment in the chat if you still hear me. Rishi says volume went low. The gain is just the same, bro. I haven't changed anything, so someone let me know. Okay. Yeah, Ozda Wizard says we can hear you. The gain is the same, guys. I don't know. I don't know what. Maybe Rishi, check the volume on your side too, please. And we'll get to Licha and the back 3 guys. Let's see it. Says the volume is normal, and Chad M says I never heard any issues either. So yeah, Rishi, please check your headphones, check your ears. But yeah, so anyways, overall in this team, I think Mount is unreliable, Xerxes unreliable, and Dorgu, Leon, and Malacia can't really play in this 10-10 role, right? So we really only have 2 options from the first team to play instead of Mbumo. And, regardless of which one steps in here, they're going to be a big drop off from Mbumo, because neither of them are left-footed. And we're not really sure what we're going to get from them. So this is a big problem area, guys. I mean, we could get in, from the youth setup. Let's talk about the youth setup. We could get in Mather to play here, or we could get Shea Lacey to play here, right? These are the 2 options that I'm thinking about that could potentially fit into this role. And Shea Lacey is, very, very highly touted. And I think he was even more highly rated before he got some of his injuries, from what I understand. Let me just make this box a little bigger. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So these 2 guys can potentially play on the right 10 spot. And from what I understand, Shea Lacey's like the one, right? Because he went into the England setup, and I think he trained with England first team as well. So maybe we get to see Shea Lacey in this area if it's not Mount or Xerxes. And I'm excited to see one of them. But I think Sam Mather is a right-footed winger who can also play in that position. But the thing that these guys will struggle with the most is the physicality, and that's just my opinion, right? It's gonna be difficult with the physicality. Rishi, with Xerxes, the problem is the defensive work rate, right? I don't know how much you can improve the work rate defensively. It's the same problem that Menu has, right? I mean, Menu also has the progressive passing issue, right? He's not as good as like what we saw from Anderson, basically Elliot Anderson in the Forest game. Menu doesn't really have that in his game, and he also struggles with the defensive intensity. It'd be the same problem for Xerxes. So if one of them can figure it out, then maybe these guys get maybe Xerxes could work. And the concern with Mather and Lacey is the physicality, right? Because as much as we want them to come in and do well, I think Xerxes and Mount are both going to be way better than them. They're just senior players, they're grown bodies, right? And they're just going to be much better in that position. Um, So yeah, I think Mount is the one that plays here, but like Rishi mentioned earlier, it's the injury concerns that we have to be concerned about. Um it's the physicality that we have to be concerned about as well, even with Mount, because he doesn't have post injury, can't play more than 60 minutes. So are you just going to rotate Mount and Xerxes every game, and how are you going to deal with that for 8 games? It's going to be a little difficult. So this is a problem area for sure. Would we go and address this in the market? I highly doubt it. I don't think this is a position we go and address in the market in the January transfer window. Now, the other sort of area is wingback, right? And wingback is also concerning because we don't really have another Ahmad in the team, right? When James from the Muppeteers came on the channel, he mentioned this as a big concern because he said, we don't really have another Ahmad profile of wingback. And the thing we fear the most is that Dallo will come over to the right hand side and it'll just be Dorgu on the left hand side, right? This is what we're kind of thinking is going to happen. I think, in my opinion, what Amorim is going to try to do, and this is what James from the Muppeteers also said, is have Dallo stay on the left hand side and have Dorgu come on the right hand side. I think this is what's going to happen. And in terms of giving Dorgu or Dallo competition for places, the one player who's in front of the line more than any other player is Bendito Montato. This guy, from what I've kind of seen and heard, seems like the most physically gifted youngster that we have as well. And a lot of people are excited about him. He's a right winger who can also play fullback. And he's definitely going to have an advantage in terms of physicality compared to these other U team players as well. So that's going to be an interesting one for us to watch out for. And obviously on the left hand side, I think the other sort of backup that we have is Diego Leon, and that's going to be an interesting one to look at. So in the right hand spot, let me just make these a little bigger, and I'll just leave I'll just leave the boxes there so you guys know which players we talked about. So we said Mount, and then as the first option, and then we can have Lacey and Sam Mather deputized there too. And then in this position, we'll go with Dorgu, Montado, and probably one of these guys, right? So I'll just put Shea Lacey in sort of the intersection there, because I think Shea Lacey could also play as wing back, but I have doubts with his physicality for sure. So maybe we just leave him up there. And then for Mazraoui, I think Reese Monroe is the shout, right? Because we obviously in this position, it's probably our most let's say where we have the biggest depth. So if Mazraoui is going for AFCON and he's not going to play in this team, then the options that we have are Aiden Heaven, We obviously have Maguire, who probably plays in the central center back, and Delict moves out there. We have Euro, and we have Licha as well. And again, I think the situation in which Licha plays, you probably have Shaw moving to left wing back, or Shaw or Licha playing right center back, and Delict or Maguire playing central center back. The combinations are a little confusing because I don't think Shaw just goes to the bench after playing every single game this season, right? I don't think that happens. It just doesn't make sense to me that Shaw would just go to the bench after being like a first team player for so long. So Licha probably starts as left center back. Shaw probably goes as left wing back. And then we have Dallo or Dorgu playing on the right wing back. And then Mount or Xerxes playing as the right 10. And that's probably how the problems are solved. And then maybe off the bench, you get to see some of these U team players. So that's kind of the set of options that we have there, guys. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. I mean, get in the comments with your thoughts. Someone says Hefalu and Camison are also coming through for wingback. Wingers could also be converted. Yeah, Ed, I just picked out these guys based on like 2 weeks ago the U team players that were invited to the first team, right? This was the list of 8 players that were invited to the first team, and you have a good mix of like forwards, wingbacks, midfielders, and defenders. So I thought this was the best kind of list to look through. Obviously, there's a lot more players that could, shock us and come through. And I think one player that is probably not being talked about enough is Diego Leon, right? He scored a great goal for the under 21s recently against Tottenham, I believe. He basically dribbled through the whole pitch and scored. He's a bit of like a bulldozer, like a bull in China shop type of player. And I think he could be really exciting. Obviously, guys, there's a whole conversation to be had about which transfers we should be signing in the winter window. But I think that's for another video. I just want to kind of see, like, from an AFCON perspective, if we didn't get any signings, because, Ineos could always just be like, yeah, there's no value in the market or some nonsense like that. What can we actually do, right? Or maybe we just get like a light 20 million signing like Dorgu, which means we still need to solve problems from within the squad. And that's kind of the question. So, yeah, guys, the StreamYard link is pinned in the chat. If you want to join the stream, I can start pulling some of you guys in now. I just wanted to have this discussion before we started talking about sort of who we should bring into the into the squad, and then we can talk about sort of what your thoughts are. Simon says, how good is Leon? I think physically he's definitely very advanced for the youth setup. So I would love to see him in the Premier League level. What I don't know is how good he can read the game, because he is coming from South America, playing in a much worse league, right? So will the Premier League tactics, like Premier League level tactics and all that, overwhelm him a little bit when he starts? That's the only question. Guys, I'm only seeing one person in the call-in show right now. If more of you want to join the call, please do so right away so I can start bringing some of you guys in. Okay. Says Kukonki has been playing at left back too. Yeah, that's Godwill Kukonki, right? He's like 6'4", 6'5" or something. That's very interesting. I think Raja was in the call-in show and he's just left. So if you want to come back, I'll pull you in next. Let me read some more comments here. All these youngsters will struggle because of physicality. Absolutely. Armani FC says Xerxes can also work as a cam on the right side. He can, but again, I haven't seen any evidence of the defensive work, so we'll have to see. And BB says, will Mazraoui go to AFCON? Morocco have Hakimi already? Yeah, obviously, like he can play like 20 positions on the pitch, dude. I think he's gonna go. Anyone wants Cameroon to lose fast so Mbumo go back to United? Don't know anything about football. I mean, listen, we do have a double agent in net playing for Cameroon, so Only time will tell how long they can actually stick around. But let me see. Hold on. Yeah, so we do have Onana playing it in net for us. So we'll see. Maybe they go out early, but we shouldn't be wanting to wish that because listen, if Mbumo does well in AFCON, he's going to be in high spirits when he comes back to the team. And look, everybody wants to play for their national team, right? You can't say you want somebody to lose just so that they don't play in a certain tournament or they can play more games for you. I think that's something that we should all be looking forward to. Ed Barrett says Leon is far from ready in all aspects apart from size. Okay, so you're saying that he's sort of big enough and physical enough, but doesn't figure out the other stuff. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the thing with Leon is though that if you compare him to the other U team players, he's still a little bit more advanced because he was playing for a long time with a couple seasons at least with grown men. So at least in terms of that, he has a big advantage. And Montado, Lacey, Mather, all these guys, they're probably more experienced playing the United way or under Darren Fletcher or whatever that means. But yeah, we just need to kind of see what he's going to be like. We don't really know. All right, let's bring Rishi into the show. Rishi, how you doing?
I was sleeping, dude. This time does not work for me at all. But yeah, I couldn't stay away from the stream. I love the community, want to be as involved as possible. So I thought, why not jump on? Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's give us a light 5 minutes, and then we can let you go back to sleep.
All right. So yeah, we're talking about AFCON replacements, right?
Yep.
I gave you a wild shout in the comments, and I don't know if you willfully ignored it or you did not read it.
No, I just didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Go on, tell me what you think.
Yeah. I know it's crazy, but I want to hear your thoughts. How about Dorgu in the right cam? Dorgu can stretch the game with his pace like Mbumo. Play Shaw left wing back, Licha left center back. Yeah, look, it can work for sure. I think was it the Arsenal game where he had this the shot that hit the post, but that was from the left hand side.
That was from the left. Yeah, that was from the left.
So it's not like, listen, every first team player can shoot the ball, right? It's not that he can't really finish or anything. It gives us a different dynamic. I don't hate it, but I also don't think Amorim is going to do it because what's the long term benefit of doing that, right? Because that's not a position he wants to play him in. And if you want to put Dorgu at left 10 or right 10, might as well put Bruno at the right 10 and play Dorgu in his natural position, right? Because which player is going to adapt to a new position better and then do equally as well in their old position? It's probably Bruno rather than Dorgu. So yeah, it's an interesting
Yeah,
shot, but
but
I don't think Amorim's going to do it.
okay, I'm just gonna counter a few of the points. Of course, we are not here to prove anyone wrong. This is just devil's advocate. I knew it was a wild shout the moment I said it. Now, when you say that it's not a permanent solution, uh, nothing we do during AFCON will be a permanent solution because the only permanent solution is spend big money and get a long term player because that's the kind of player we want to buy. We are not going to get that 20 million player or 15 million player that is just here to do a job for 15 or 20 days during AFCON, right?
Yeah.
So any solution we do right now, even if only way I can look at it is someone from the youth team comes in and he becomes part of the long term plans. Which honestly, if you've seen people like Shea Lacey play, he's built like a twig, bro. I think one barge from Bruno Guimaraes might injure him again, and Lacey is a heavily injury prone player. He's got big
Yeah.
issues. He might be the next Jack Wilshere for all we know, and he's not even as big as Jack Wilshere. He's smaller than him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the first thing about not having a permanent solution, which is that any solution is a temporary solution. The second thing about playing Bruno there is Bruno does not suit this style of 10 that Amorim plays because he either needs someone like a Cunha who can drive the ball 50 yards from his own half, which Bruno can't do, right? Or he
Hmm.
needs someone like Mbumo who can stretch the game and pull the defenders into their own half, right? Play on the
Yeah.
shoulder of the last man, that kind of a player. Bruno can't do that either, right? So for me,
I so Rishi, the only thing I'll say is so first of all, in terms of the rank order of reasons why Bruno won't play there, what you're saying is probably second or third. The first one is that he wants Bruno to play in the eight, right? And he it's a position that he has already learned like fairly well, I would say, in terms of being 31. And the second thing I would say is that Mbumo and Cunha spend more time being deeper, and the wing backs are the ones that play much higher up, right, during the build up and everything. So it's not really that much stretching the play that you need someone like Mbumo for. It's more that once you drop deep and then you want to spin in behind, right? So that is the piece that you need from someone like a Bruno. So Bruno could work there if you have someone like a Dorgu on the outside with crazy pace, because Bruno is intelligent enough to drop deep, pull people out, and go past him. But Amorim is not going to do that because it's not a. He wants him to play the eight. He's not just going to move him out middle of the season and then pull him back there.
yeah, yeah, makes sense. Also, with this Dorgo playing the right cam role, I think the biggest thing is that you move too many pieces around. That's the thing. You play short left wing back, which he can do for one half maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and then you pull you play Dalo. You play someone like a Dalo and Dorgo on the right hand side, and they're two of your worst performing players. So instead of strengthening the right hand side, which is already weak, you weaken it even further by playing both of them on the same side.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And also, the problem that I have with our left hand side right now is Dallo and Shaw are both prone to switching off too much, and this is pre Afcon. Like this is this is more of a non Afcon situation. Dallo and Shaw both switch off too much. So if we're gonna now put Dallo on the right hand side and put Dorgu on the left, both Dorgu and Shaw also switch off too much, and that's their problem. So I actually think part of the shout that you gave me, other than the Dorgu piece, is very accurate, because Shaw playing at left wing back and Martinez playing as left center back probably makes a lot more sense. Martinez is much better defensively. He's not going to switch off as much. He's got more of the aggression. Shaw is better than Dallo defensively, so he'll give us that, and he's also better going forward than Dallo. So just a better all-around player than Dallo as left wing back, and that gives me a lot more confidence for our left-hand side, because I think during Afcon what we will see is our left side will become much better and much more dominant from an attacking sense. Just like our right side has been much more dominant, right, with Mbumo and Ahmad. What do you think about that?
I agree with you, and because our right hand side was so strong, you would have seen that in the last couple of games, especially the Forest game, the managers have started to catch on. They see that most of our attacks are coming on the right hand side, so they pack the that side of the field, and they know that on the left hand side, even if Dalo gets a ball, he's going to take 5 seconds to just bring the ball down, and then another five to think what to do with it. So the exact opposite thing will happen, that once they realize, and nowadays managers are catching on really quick. They've got five assistants analyzing just the opposition from monitors behind them. So if they see that okay, their left hand side is our left hand side is getting stronger, they'll just divert all of their attention to that side. The problem is that we don't have enough quality in the wing back area. That's the core problem. And I am actually of the opinion that if you want to have someone who's more secure on the ball, I would drop Dalo completely, and I would rather start. I know I said that Mount is very injury prone; he might as well be at Afcon. I would start Mount in a wing back role, like the right wing back role. If I'm starting Shaw at the left wing back, I would have mounted right wing back because he's secure with the ball. He can put in a good cross. He can run up and down, and I'll just take 60 minutes out of him, but finish the game in
Who
those 60
plays
minutes.
who plays right 10?
Um. So yeah, the here's the other thing. I think Kobe is not a bad shout for the right 10. I don't think he's a bad shout. I think he can get a job done over there. Uh, because we can explore a different style of play over there, right? I think Kobe is good in those tight spaces. He can play a little bit of the give and go. And if you have Casemiro, Kobe, and Mount over there, between the three of them, I think you could form good triangles and then you could progress the ball further and just try to get the ball
It's too
beyond the last
slow
guy.
though. It's too slow on the right hand side. Then you don't have Mountain Menu. There's no pace in behind.
I mean, yeah, but even if you play Dalo on the right wing back, then there's no pace there either.
No, Dallo's like listen for all the issues that Dallo has, like his physicality and physical attributes are the only thing that are going for him because
But dude, come on. No, dude,
he
come
is
on. Did you
fast,
not
dude.
see? Did
He's
you
not
know?
slow.
Did you, dude? He was getting burned by Welbeck in the Brighton game, and this is in the 75th minute. He was getting absolutely burned. Did you not see him turn him completely, leave him in his wake, and then put in crosses from the right flank? He was absolutely burning him. Dalo is not quick
Did you
enough
see him?
for.
Did you see him get to the byline and put in a cross for Bruno? Sorry for Mbumo in the Burnley game.
Yeah, but that was like we had an overload on that side, so they had like a man
Look,
advantage on the
I
left, and
I
that was
think
the
I
reason he
think
got there.
I think where we agree on is that Dallo's slow in the brain, right? That's his
Not
problem
just in the
because
brain, dude, but I
He's
genuinely have seen
with
him
his
be
feet, he's
slow.
faster than Mount, he's faster than Mainu, and Welbeck got the jump on him. Like and Welbeck did really well to do what he did. Like Welbeck isn't faster than Dallo, bro. I know you don't like him, but that doesn't make him slower than
No,
Welbeck.
no, no. But I'm not biased against the guy. I'm willing to give him a chance, and I'm analyzing his traits based on what I see. And in the Brighton game, Welbeck had the jump on him, like not just the jump on him in terms of he was quicker than him to react. He was just basically beaten by Welbeck for pace. And I don't think he's one of the quickest players out there. Like maybe strong physically, yes. Like you can't muscle him off the ball if there's a shoulder barge on him. But I don't think he's the quickest guy there. And I agree with your point that maybe Mount is not the strongest person to get anywhere, but I think he's got decent pace on him. If nothing, I think on in a foot race he's neck and neck with Dalo.
I okay. Let's just move on because I disagree with you, bro. Dallo is quick. He's slow in the brain, and that's his problem. He's nowhere near Mount. He's easily faster than Mount, and he's faster than Mainu as well. And so for the wingback role, he would suit that a lot more. But let's yeah, you what you were saying was you think Mount and Mainu could work there in terms of we probably need a different style of play, and that I can get behind because then we probably have a lot more overloads in the midfield, and Sheshko being the one who's running the channels. A little bit like playing to the strengths of Rasmus Hoyland in a way, right?
You know, there's
Pushy.
another option we haven't thought about, which is Sheshko in the 10. He's played there for Leipzig, and Lois Openda has played as striker, and Sheshko's played in the 10. That's another option we haven't thought of. I know it's a different system and it's a different role for the 10, but it's worth a thought. What do you think?
I think what you're talking about is more of a 3-5-2 maybe, right? Where you have, let's say, Cunha and Sheshko as like the two strikers slash wide forwards. And then you pack the midfield with like maybe Mainu plays in that situation. And then you have Dorgu and Dallo as the two wingbacks. I can see something like that working. But if you put Sheshko and Xerxes in the team as like the striker and the is that what you meant? Like put Xerxes as the striker and then Sheshko in the right 10?
Yeah, put Xerxes as the striker and Sheshko as the right 10, or maybe
Yeah,
even play
I
Mount at 9, or maybe play Mount at sorry, if Mount is playing, he'll probably play in the right cam. But yeah, maybe Xerxes plays as striker and Sheshko in the 10.
I think again it's moving too many pieces around in my personal opinion. Um but I think it's an interesting shout like with Mainu and Mount in the team. We'll have to play a different style of play and Sheshko will have to do more of the running on the right-hand side. So it could potentially work. Do you think we could recall our loans?
Are you thinking about Harry Amas?
There's also Hoyland.
Ah, no, man. Let's not dig up skeletons.
Yeah.
I've just gotten over the fact that Hoyland was with us because I have a mixed history with Hoyland because I still go back to that first season when he was the Champions League top scorer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he had 10 goals in the Prem, which for me was fantastic return for a kid who basically had one shot per game, was it? One shot per game for a striker for a
Less than
team
two
that's
shots a game. It was more than one, but less than two. Yeah.
yeah, it was something pathetically low like that. And uh, in the second season again there was hardly any service. It was a different style of play. But then when you think about it, he wasn't good with the ball at his feet. He wasn't good with his back to goal, right? He wasn't good. His hold up play was bad. So there were enough reasons. Like the one of the many reasons for us to love him was that he was a United fan and he desperately wanted to be here, which you couldn't even say for some of the so-called true Reds, the academy products, right? So there was enough to like about him, but there was also a lot of drawbacks in his game. Uh, so I just made my
He couldn't
peace
hold the
with,
ball up. He
yeah,
couldn't hold the ball up, and he's gonna have the same problem if we call him back. I think
yeah,
best case scenario, even if someone wants to say, not that I'm saying this, even if you want to see him back in the team, let's say next year, our best bet is to have him play the full season, get his confidence back, get some goals under his belt, maybe get into the Serie A team of the season because apparently, if McTominay can get a Ballon d'Or number 18 vote, why can't Hoyland get into the team of the season? And then we take a look at him then. Like, do we want to call him back or I don't know what the deal is with Napoli. Do they have an obligation to buy? And if they just pay the price, we have to let him go.
if
But I'm
they qualify for Europe, it's an obligation to buy.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a stipulation in the contract where we could just call him back if we wanted to, right?
Yeah, I mean, Sancho still hung around our neck like an albatross, so I'm sure there are
Yeah.
stipulations for everything.
Yeah, and if we were gonna tell Hoyland like, hey, you're gonna come fight for your spot here, he's still a United fan. Maybe he wants to do it.
No,
Let's
I don't think so. Because look at Napoli, dude. Like their fans are crazy and they're so starved for any sort of quality. You know, when McTominay landed at the airport in Napoli, there were like fans at the airport waiting to welcome him. Like McTominay was shocked. If
Yeah.
McTominay is getting that kind of a welcome before he's even kicked the ball, you think a guy who's scoring goals for them regularly is not going to feel the love? He's not going to want to step out of the island of Naples, dude.
I hear you, but he also really wanted to stay at United. So if we convince him with the sporting project, listen. Anyways, it's a long shot. Not that I'm saying I want Hoyland back because again, in my opinion, you don't really go back and get success, right?
Yeah,
You need to move forward and need to move
yeah.
on. And he says, dreams come true says, that option's only at the end of the season. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, if someone wants to get into the studio, please make it happen right now. The link is pinned in the description
Yeah,
because
Andy's fed up of me.
no, Rishi's got to go sleep, and if I'm not seeing any more interest in like the next few minutes, I will probably just end the call early because yeah, I'll probably just go work on a video or something like that, right? We're just trying out a new time, and it's gonna take a little while, I guess, for people to be available at this time. So we need to figure things out. But this is just something I wanted to do. I don't know. Sean had joined earlier. Raja had joined earlier. If you guys want to come step in now, I can bring you in and we can have this conversation. But Rishi, any closing thoughts?
Just moving on from this topic, I wonder if there's something you could do. We could talk about the Spurs game, maybe that's coming up on the weekend because this is the last live before the Spurs game, right? Uh,
There may be one on Thursday. I haven't really decided yet. Again, depending on the content calendar, because I'm trying to do some work with some other creators, guys. And Thursday's the type of day that I'd like to reserve for speaking to other creators. But let's see. Let me pull up the Spurs game. Okay, not the under 21s. Fixtures, Tottenham. Oh, it's going to be a 7:30 game. Great.
Imagine we are
Wow,
so
look at their injury. Look at their injury list, dude. We only have Lisandro Martinez, and they have Yves Bissouma, Dragushin, Kudus, Bergval, James Madison, Solanke, Jet Spence, Kulusevski, Ben Davies, and Archie Gray all out.
god
Um,
damn.
yeah,
Dude,
and
that club has a serious problem with injuries.
yeah.
And
Okay,
what
Rishi,
makes it, yeah.
I have two people that have joined the stream, so let me give them a chance, and I'll let you go to bed.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one, Andy.
Yeah, thanks to Rishi for joining. Seriously, he was basically asleep. He had messaged me before, but he still made the effort and came out for everybody. So I appreciate that. All right, Sean, you're live on the channel. It's your first time here. I've seen you in the comments plenty of times before, though. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Andy?
I am well, man. What's your give us? Is that your name? Did I get it right? Is it Sean?
It's actually Shant.
Oh,
It's
it is Sean. Okay, I thought it was
it-
Sean T.
it's fine. Yeah, it's Armenian in origin, so it's a little bit ethnic, but still.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. So first time, obviously, caller, long time viewer. Just wanted to say thank you to yourself and your brother for putting out such measured, calm, rational takes on United because it's been a bit of a battlefield being an Amorim supporter, but even
Yeah.
beyond that, just being a United supporter because I don't think that we have our viewpoints without a certain type of logic and rationale for what we've seen.
Yeah.
However, it's been more and more difficult to defend in spite of seeing the results. So now that the results are coming because we've had so much underlying data to support it, it's good to actually have more measured discussions beyond what he's looking like on the pitch side and all the little histrionics that we see from legacy
Yeah.
pundits.
Yeah. Where are you calling from, Sean?
I'm actually from the West Coast, so I'm in Los Angeles. So we got the early viewing times for United, but still, that's part and parcel of
You're
what
gonna have
what
to
it
be up
takes.
at 4:30 for the Tottenham game.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, it's good because it gets to decide how my weekend goes.
Well, at least think about it this way: you plan a night out with the boys on Friday
Sure.
night,
Yeah.
and you end it with some pizza and United game.
There you go. There you go. You've got it. You've got it all figured out.
Yeah, it's a little too shameless for me to do the same thing because it's gonna be 7:30 for me. Um, but yeah, and plus I gotta watch the game, I gotta analyze the game, and then I gotta it's a whole day. Like match days for me are like 10 to 14 hours depending on how it goes.
I
But
appreciated the little insight you had with your brother regarding how the content delivery is going to go, because I initially found you. I'm not sure if it was off of the Paddock guys or if it was. Actually, no. You had a resurgence coming in. I think you upped your content about what, month and a half ago, about 2 months ago.
2 months ago,
Um,
yeah, 2 months
two
ago
months
I
ago.
started again because I'd taken a break. I got married last year, a bunch of other things.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks,
Yeah, of course.
appreciate it.
So I mean, it's funny. You were immediately pushed upon my algorithm, and my algorithm contains the likes of tacticos all around. You got the Statman Daves, you got even some up and comers like AJ Analysis, but then you got the
Mhm.
aggregators and whatnot. So to see you come in, and then beyond that, the fact that your level of analysis and just the things that you were discussing was just, in my opinion, just a couple tiers above what we see. And a lot of these, newer media or established media companies are now just turned into full blown aggregators.
Mhm.
It's very difficult to find a lot of really high level takes upon what we're finding, other than tacticos on X that have their own agenda to push, because I've seen that as well.
Well, so the problem is, right, Sean, and I'll be honest with you, and the folks that are watching, if you're getting bored with this conversation, let me know and I can switch it up. But I find that a lot of people want to do lazy content, and they just want to turn the camera on, talk their nonsense, and get out, right? And I'm not trying to name any names, but you see the DR Sports panel a lot of the times is just like, oh, this guy was crap today, or this guy was great today. And I saw some people talking about, oh, Amorim's moved to a 4-4-2 and that's why they're winning. I can't watch that anymore, like genuinely, because like you guys gotta either put in the effort so that you can actually provide some value to the viewers, which is how I feel. Because a lot of my videos, they'll take me 7, 8, 9, 10 hours to make. And nobody's putting that effort. Other people are probably at best doing a 2-to-1 effort ratio, which is 2 hours of effort for 1 hour of video. Whereas for me, it's like far higher than that. So, because I just feel like if I'm not adding any value, why would anybody want to watch me? And I feel the same way about the content I'm consuming, which is like, this just seems very surface level. Like you saw one screenshot of the game where we were set up in a 4-4-2 defensively, and you're like, wow, he switched the system. Like, guys, come on.
Well, I think it's appreciated from a viewer standpoint, because I think we've been able to, again, graduate from a lot of the naive talking points, which are, has Amorim changed the system or not, and then go into the actual, evidence of our attacking plays and momentum. And you put out a fantastic video, I think a fortnight ago, regarding about whether or not you've seen improvements in the way that we've set up in structure. And then I think a few days ago, you actually kind of like put the counterpoint to the Carl Ankas and the other,
the people who said that have changed. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But to make it a little bit more topical, I wanted to ask you from the standpoint of, okay, so we've seen Amorim, the way that he's lined up. He has a lot of trust in players that have shown that they're not able to bottle it on the big stage. Although we've seen Euro being supplanted in from here and there, we do see that, in times of a lot of pressure, he'll go and kind of ease onto veteran leadership. Based on our opponents during this stretch for AFCON, I think it'll be wise for us to kind of more so put in the likes of Mount and the likes of Maguire into the team again, and maybe shifting De Ligt over to the right center back, as we saw in, I believe, maybe probably about a quarter of the games last year, as we were still trying to get our bearings straight. Because I think without a doubt, we've noticed that De Ligt is our premier choice for our center back. But I think with regards to fitting in a team that has enough mental edge and poise, I do believe that you got to get Maguire back into the rotation. And I have a little bit of a hesitancy to just kind of shoehorn Manu back into the starting 11, because I don't believe that he provides any type of benefit over our existing options at the 10s, or even at the 8 and 6, or whichever permutation you want to put with regards to our midfield too.
You know what's interesting, Sean? I think the first thing we need to look at, because I haven't done this either, which I probably should have before this video, but the games. So AFCON goes from December 21st, where the first game is actually Morocco. So, goodbye to Mazraoui. And I think we'll still have our players for December 15th, which is the Bournemouth game. And then some of them will start leaving for AFCON. So we're looking at a situation where we have the Villa game away, and it goes on till January 18th. That's the final. So we go from we have Villa, Newcastle, Wolves, Leeds, Burnley, Man City. Man City's the last one, right? So you got, and then if Cameroon's in the final, we probably don't have those guys back for the Arsenal game either.
So to be fair, of that 6-game to potential 8-game stretch, I think if we were to analyze from a philosophical level what we could expect from, a combined 8 times 24 points, I think going in with a, expectation of 15 points, 16 points plus would still put us in the realm of getting European spots.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, first, I don't even think it's 8 games. I've heard so many people say 8 games. I think it's 6 games because the
That's
Villa
what I thought. I
game
thought it was
is
just
is the
6. Yeah.
first day. Yeah, Villa game is the first day of AFCON, and that is 7 days after the Bournemouth game, or 6 days after the Bournemouth game. And I feel like that's plenty of time. Right after Bournemouth, the next day they fly out.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how this scheduling would work, but I imagine that's how it is. At least the
I think
players
this
should
is
have
also
enough
subject to any type of sometimes the league
rescheduling and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So you have Villa. The Villa game is the tough one, and then the Man City game is the tough one. But other than that, you're playing Newcastle, Wolves, Leeds, and Burnley. And if you can't beat Newcastle, then forget about top 4, right?
Right.
You have to beat one of the rivals to get in there. And so you're really talking about out of the 6 games, 2 of them being difficult. So we should be looking out of 18 points, maybe to get 10. We can get 3 wins and a draw. That's a good position.
I don't know, again, to kind of zoom out a bit, I don't have an issue with regards to how Amorim sets up against top 6 teams. I think we've actually shown our best performances against those lot. I think Leeds and Burnley are especially shit. Sorry, excuse my French. So I'm not really too concerned about that. The tricky games for me are going to be Wolves at home. Newcastle are a little bit of a shithouser, so I could see Joelinton and Bruno Guimaraes giving us a lot of difficulty in the midfield. Should there be should Howe even stay in his post by then? You never know.
No, he's not going to get fired. He's not going to get fired because the underlying numbers are very good. The same reason that Amorim didn't get fired. Newcastle is actually above us on the expected points table. They just haven't been able to.
I've seen a lot of murmurs on X, though, that saying that their usage of the ESOC funds is rivaling how Spurs use the bail funds.
Bail money.
So, really, really badly. So
yeah, listen, if there's some backroom stuff that Howe is pissed about and he wants to leave, or Saudi wants to be trigger happy, that's totally possible, right? Because Marinakis shouldn't have fired Nuno, but they fired Nuno and then they fired Ange, and now Deitch could get fired if he doesn't get wins. So things can happen, but my point is the underlying numbers are good for Howe, so I don't think he should be getting fired.
So I think with regards to how we're going to set up versus these teams, I think Amorim kind of likes to give a little bit of a 2-week cushion for some players, and that's why we've seen Delo. I think his best performance prior to saying best performance in Delo, that's oxymoron, but I think we found him to be very, very balanced on the game against Liverpool, given that we had Ahmad and Mbeumo just absolutely just destroying that right flank. Now that we're seeing a lot of those inconsistencies against those teams that a Burnley, what we've seen with the Deitch Forest, that are more compact in the mid and low block, you're going to have to actually create more on the wings than what you bargained for. So I just don't think Delo would be good for that, rigidity. I think he's much better in those games against the teams that actually like to play more open and expressive. Whereas if you're depending on him to have more type of creative and forward output, this is not going to be something that I think is in his rotation.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. That's spot on, right? We've had other callers come onto the channel and say, hey, Casemiro is not good enough. We could do better than Casemiro, and Dorgu or Dallo aren't good enough. We could do better. And I'd even go as far as to say, if you want to really zoom out, De Ligt is not, I wouldn't say De Ligt is necessarily a starting league-winning center back for us, right? Because he's very good to get into the top 4, and he's way better than the rest of the quality of our squad right now. But the problem is, for where we're at, we have to try to use some of these players. And that's the thing with Dallo. He's part of the leadership team. He speaks Portuguese. I don't know what it is, but Amorim seems to trust him, and coach in, coach out, right? It's a little bit like Mason Mount. Every coach seems to like Mason Mount, even though we hate the fact that we spent 50 million when he was in his last year of his contract. We hate the fact that he's 23-year-old player that came to us and now he's 26 and he still can't play 90 minutes. So there's a lot of things not to like about Mount, but the coaches seem to like him. So the same way, I feel like Dallo is a player that can take on instructions and also forget the instructions during the game.
Yeah.
So that's
but
a little
you
bit
know,
of the
I
problem
think with when Amorim uses 5 substitutions, I do think that he does have a lot of different ways to play his system. I mean, you just saw Liverpool shell out $150 million for a guy who can't even get 70 minutes on the pitch without being gassed, in Isak. So he can't even score a goal or get an assist either. He's just trash. But I find there to be a lot of different. So where did you and Rishi land on the hierarchy with regards to how we would set up in this stretch? Because I think that there's a ton of different room for playing around with, including moving Bruno up to one of the 10 positions, maybe having Ugarte and Casemiro in the midfield, or even getting Mount into the 10 along with Cunha. I think Šeško just has to play without a doubt. And I just don't, I'm a little tentative to kind of put Xerxes in any type of lineup, because I just don't think that he's really demonstrated any proficiency to be the leading 9. I think he's just an emergency 10 option for us right now, if he doesn't even go in January.
Guys, I'm just looking at some news on Twitter, and looks like Erik ten Hag might become the Wolves coach. And we might be playing him. By the way, I just want to say this, Sean. I'll get back to your question. Sorry, because I just got distracted by this tweet.
If you want, I can let you address the viewers.
No. That's fine. That's fine. I was just gonna say, Dreams Come True has joined the stage, but he hasn't connected his mic or his webcam, so I can't bring you on the stage. If you want to fix that, I'll pull you in, and we can have a group discussion here. What was I saying? Yeah, Erik ten Hag being the Wolves coach, guys. I didn't have that on my bingo card.
I feel like Thierry Henry when Carragher and him were on the panel. They found
he's got the hand on his. That's
what I'm doing. I'm like,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane.
City had 35. They don't know how to spend it, so they bought 8 Nuri, and we're playing Dallo. I hate this world. I totally get the Dallo hate, man. I totally get it, but I also feel like he is the weakest link, right? And the team goes as he goes. And I feel like the second weakest link that people don't really talk about is Luke Shaw, because defensively, dude, that overlap that Savona did with the Elliot Anderson pass. I don't know if you caught the most recent video I posted, Shant. Is both of them just like, Chuckle Brothers, just completely assigning responsibility to each other.
He looks like a fullback that has been tasked to be a center back, and that's the worst issue, because you cannot have that moment of you, especially in this 3-4-3. Your wide center backs need to be the aggressors, and your middle center back needs to be the guy that's going to be able to spray it out wide. And what De Ligt is, in my opinion, the most proficient at is that being that cover. He's the cover runner, and he's the one that just gets all the danger out of the box. But you need more aggressiveness from those wide center backs, which is why we haven't seen, in my opinion, a long mainstay of Euro in the team, and Heaven either, because they're just a little bit too, how do you say it? Like they're not on it at all times. Even though I rate Euro so highly. So
yeah, I think I want to get back to something you said earlier, because I think I may have missed addressing it, because you had mentioned that you would want to see the more senior players playing during the AFCON time. Yeah. And specifically, I think you mentioned Maguire, I believe, as one of the names. Yeah. The concern I have with Maguire is twofold. One is the injury concerns, right? And that's also why I don't want us to be giving him a lucrative contract for 2 years. If we're giving him like 80, 90K, I think that's fair. Like, we should be giving him the money that any other Premier League team will offer him as well. which is like a West Ham or something like that. They're not giving him more than 80k a week, and if we're giving him 80 to 90, I'm probably okay with that, but none more than that. So injuries is a concern, and the other thing that's a concern is his pace and the defensive mistakes that he has as well. Like we saw in the Brentford game, he absolutely shit himself when we didn't even have a very fast player like trying to break the offensive line or the defensive line, like in Thiago, right? Or is that his name?
Um,
Igor Thiago, right? The Brentford striker, I believe so. Yes, the Brazilian guy. Because
Igor, not Igor
Igor
Jesus.
Jesus is
Igor was
the forest
one we
guy.
just.
Is the forest
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So yeah, Igor Thiago was the guy that he was shitting himself and he tried to play the offside trap and he got effed up. And you have Euro, who's good with the pace, but he seems to shit himself when he gets pressed, or at least he did in the last game. So we have sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't problem a lot throughout the squad, whether that's Euro and Maguire, whether that's Dorgu and Dallo, or whether that's Shaw and Martinez, because both of those guys are super injury prone.
Yeah.
So
and
there's
he's going to
there's
bet
problems
in
all over the
Leisha
place.
very, very sparingly, in the coming weeks. So I don't see him being locking down any starting position maybe until January, given a good performance and run of games. But I think you're right. De Ligt and Euro are most likely going to be the mainstays. Shaw has proven himself to have, I guess, like that mental stability, but when it comes to the actual performance, leaves a ton to be desired. So I just think we have the quality of our center backs is just none of which, except for De Ligt as of this moment, are really excelling. We just have a ton of potential players, and then we have, bed shitters. So we need to kind of just go.
I'd agree. It's either
like,
either potential players or injury prone players, because
Yeah.
Shaw on his day is decent, but again, in terms of reading the defensive side of the game, he's not very good. And then Licha, hyper aggressive. He has a bit of the Casemiro in him, where he'll be your best defensive player one day and the next day gets sent off.
Yeah.
And because he's a little bit of a hothead. Like, do you remember his 2-footed like butterfly tackle on like
God.
when he jumped onto the ball? Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, that's not you get sent
My
off
hands
in
are on my
Sunday
head
league
every
for
time.
stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
Somebody else did that for us, like either last week or 2 weeks ago. I saw that. It wasn't Casemiro, was it? But just did a 2-footed, just and I was like, dude, like, just this is the Premier League.
Yeah.
Even just diving like that, you'll get intent. So
let's bring dreams come true. Hey man, you're live on Footy with an Edge. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well, thanks. Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell everybody where you're calling from.
Calling from Ohio, USA. Being a Man
Nice.
United fan since 1991. That was a year I used to play when I was young. So that was the year that my dad introduced me to Man United.
Very
I was
nice.
originally from like Marseille in France. So yeah. So it was all like
Very nice.
Olympique Marseille growing up, or Olympique Marseille, yeah.
Yeah, that's where Greenwood plays now, right?
Yes. So yeah, he's actually one of he haven't seen the numbers this year, but last year he sold like almost 60% of all the jerseys sale for the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not surprised. Anyways, man, welcome to the show, and great to see an experienced fan. You've been following United 3 years longer than I've been alive. So great to hear from somebody.
Yeah.
That's an OG. Nice to hear from you. So go on, give us your thoughts about AFCON, and then also generally about the team. How are you feeling? Because it's your first time calling in, right?
Yes. I've been following for a long time. I love football, so I'm always trying to learn from everybody else, the way they see the games, because I have my own thought like about hey how certain things should be, why that person is making like not the first time cross, but he's pausing for a second and things like that. So for the AFCON, I'm not actually worried too much.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I don't want the manager to do, which I'm not sure he would do it, try to protect the kids, introduce one at a time. So if you bring in like the if you can bring in Mateta, make sure that either Delete went to the right to literally protect him. Just in case he make like I don't know some bad tackles, Delete's there to put to do the clear out and things like that. So the same thing for anybody else he's bringing in. Make sure that there's a cover. Make sure there's a
So
communication behind them.
you're saying you want him to protect the kids?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. So you know how some managers will just throw the kid in without like a protection.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, so the midfield is really huge. You don't want to put a kid in the midfield because if they make one bad pass, that can lead to a goal. But putting the kid like on the right side, on the left side, either for the left hand on the right hand, that's fine. Their mistake might not end up straight to the goal because there's at least two cover zone that they have to pass through before they get to the our goal. So any case that he will introduce to the defense, it has to be really tight. Like those diamonds have to be really really tight. They always have to make sure that they are always talking to that kids. Hey, step up one, get back up, get back to the right, get back to the left. Hey, come closer, give it a little space
Hey,
because
did you give us a name, by the way? Sorry.
oh, my name? Oh,
Yeah.
it's so it's like the sound is really weird. The meaning is just roots, ROOT. So
Root. Okay.
so yeah, so I go by roots. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, Root. So I want to take you guys back to the Grimsby game because in that game we played Heaven as the left center back and Fredrickson as the right center back. But the rest of the team was all first team players, right? Dallo, Ahmad, Menu, Ugarte, Dorgu, Cunha. And
Yes.
I think Fredrickson looked really shaky on the right center back, and I
Yes.
don't think Dallo helped him out much. So I think this is what
Exactly.
Root
Exactly.
is talking
Yes.
about, right? He's talking
Yes.
about something like this where we get exposed, and I think what happened in the Grimsby game. I know it's been a while now. We were kind of rattled after the first 30 minutes when they went 2-0 down, and Fredrickson seemed like he was on an island by himself at the
Yes.
right center back. And I guess we want to avoid this from happening. And one thing that people haven't talked about enough is if we're talking about AFCON, Fredrickson's already in the first team, right? And you have someone like Reese Monroe coming from the, let's say, from the youth setup. So he is really a player that we should be thinking about as a potential like Mazraoui Euro type of alternative.
Yes.
And that's definitely something that we need to be thinking about. And I agree with you in the sense that we need to protect the youth team players, but I'll make this point in this team, maybe the striker is the only one that doesn't have big responsibility with him in terms of make a mistake and we could lead to a goal because
Yes.
we have so many players playing as midfielders. Sometimes you'll have the wing backs coming into midfield. Sometimes you'll have the 10s coming into midfield and you'll have the center backs moving up into midfield. So there's a lot of responsibility from every single player in this team. And that's why it's taken so long for everybody to figure out what the hell they're supposed to be doing on the pitch. And it's a very advanced system that requires you to be able to play multiple positions. And when you're a youth team player, you barely know how to play your own position, right?
That's true.
So that's going to be the challenging piece. And for that reason, I don't think any of these guys are going to start for us in any of those 8 games. Maybe Montado gets a run at right wing back. And then in that case, I definitely think Delict will play at right center back and Maguire will play at center back.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
I think that's
also
what's going to happen.
just one point. Any of those games that's gonna come between that window of time, once we are at least 3-0 up, I don't mind introducing those kids in, like at the
Mhm.
70th minute, 80th minutes, introduce them in because as a footballer, because I did play, having 10 extra minutes of rest is a lot. It's
Mhm.
huge, especially when it comes to like recovery time and getting ready for the next game, which is like 4 days right after or 3 days right after. Those 10 minutes at the end You want those because that's when the legs start getting heavier, the cramps is there, and you might have some dead legs and things like that. So you always want to have any rest that you can get, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, great. So being like 2-0 up or 3-0 up, I don't mind the coach introducing like either of those kids just in, but again, communication and protection, always talking to them because
Yeah.
sometimes like Ahmad is smart. The way he pressed the ball is really smart. Sometimes you think, oh, why he's dropping? Because he noticed, hey, if I go right now, I'm gonna leave a huge gap in the middle. They might put that ball straight on top of my head, and that's it. So he'll drop sometimes, he'll press when the time is right. So talking to the kids will help because being the kid into your team, you want to impress so that you can get picked again. But at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
you also want like the leaders in the team to guide you through it. The leader telling you,
Guys, there's Indy Kayla news 2 hours ago that said we have it on good authority that Man United and Brighton are once again negotiating for the transfer of Carlos Baleba. United owners are willing to spend 90 million on the player. Green light given to submit official bid. I mean, look, guys, don't believe everything you see on Twitter because Indy Kayla was right once about one topic, and David Ornstein gave him the shout out, and everybody's been shitting on them since then. So, yeah, don't believe everything you're seeing from these guys. Also, why would we pay 90 million for Baleba after the season he's been having? We were willing to
now.
submit a 70 million bid in this summer. That was before he played any of the games this season. So I don't see this happening. There was some other news I read somewhere just a second ago. Let me see this. MUFC RIN says Elliot Anderson and Ruben Amorim were seen chatting and laughing for around 4 to 5 minutes after the game. And a potential fee around 60 to 70 million. This sounds a bit more realistic, but I don't know if they were actually talking or if this is just somebody just pulling something out of their ass.
This is the way I look at it. You know how like maybe he was just giving him some compliment. Hey, your game was great today. But because we are linked to him, any communication interaction will just being taken like in and putting on a
Out of
blackboard saying,
context,
hey,
yeah.
this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
but
And
but
sorry to interrupt, Root, but I always take these with like a massive pinch of salt because
Yeah.
I think we saw when the Cunha interaction last year was so exaggerated, like literally arm around the neck. Like you just saw that Amorim was pining. It's like a guy at the club sees like the girl he wants and then starts flirting. That's what we saw. That was equivocally what it was on the pitch. And I think given the fact that we've had such a public list of our midfield targets, and then guessing adding Bellotti to that, which I just don't believe we're going to be in for in January. I think it's going to be an attempt at Baleba, which I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be ecstatic nor disappointed. I just think he's a target. But I think it's got to be Warden and Anderson. It just has to be. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
And and that figure too. I mean, you saw a price anchoring by Forest for 100 to 120 million, and that's just like those numbers are just way too high to even start a negotiation with in the January window. So we have to wait.
Guys, Nelson's here taking a break from his call center life, and he's here to grace us with his presence. What's going on, man?
I hear you hating on Indy Kayla, man. Let him speak, bro. Like I want Baleba in this team.
But like 90 million, bro.
90.
Like why? Yeah, unless you're his agent, just like your Mainu's agent, and pulling the strings in the background.
Yeah,
you see that light fixture behind him, guys? That's all gold plated. Okay, it's the money he's getting from these signings.
Been trying to get rid of that light fixture for a while, but I think 90 million is insane, specifically with his current form. I think it should be 70 million is a valid price.
I think that's insane, to be honest. I think
Well,
given
60 plus some like 5 add-on, really hard add-ons. I'll get it.
50-60 with performance-based add-ons, like that's as high as I'd go for Baleba. Even considering that first season that we saw at Brighton, we saw maybe a handful of good games, but we saw a ton of rawness, a ton of errors that the comps and the highlights really don't show. You just see that shot at West Ham. You just see all those like, oh, this is the player we thought Pogba could be. No, this is a very raw kid from Ligue 1. So
Yeah, the reason why I would tend to agree with Nelson more than you guys is because you are paying for the potential, right? You
Yes.
aren't paying for the finished product. And does Baleba have the potential to be a 70 million player? Absolutely. The only concern I have is he's already worth 60 million euros by Transfermarkt. And Transfermarkt is always like a very conservative sort of valuation standard. The only problem I have is AFCON again, because the title of this video is how should Amorim solve for AFCON, and we're like, let's go get another African midfielder. And by the way, did you guys know this, that AFCON was supposed to happen in the summer, I believe, and they had the what tournament? The Club World Cup is the reason they pushed it out to the winter.
Yeah.
So the next version of the AFCON is going to happen in the summer. So 2 years from now, it's going to be in the summer again. But 4 years from now, it's going to be again in the winter because of Club World Cup. So they officially had moved it. So this wasn't supposed to happen. But because, Chelsea wanted to win a Mealing-West trophy and PSG wanted to win their 4th trophy, I guess, they did all this nonsense.
But I think you should actually think about the Club World Cup a little bit. But if we are bringing in 2 midfielders, I don't see Baleba being an actual hit in the long term. I don't know if we're getting Stiller. I heard reports.
Wait. Hold the phone. You're saying if we bring in 2 midfielders, so to replace Bruno and Casemiro, you don't think Baleba will be good?
No, I'm saying no. I don't think the hit would be as big, because I think the next 2 midfielders we'll be getting, both will be extremely durable. They'd have a lot of mobility, a lot of agility. I think we should be getting Baleba and Wharton is my top 2. If not that, then I would get like Baleba and, because Wharton's the more expensive of the 2 options. So it'd be Baleba and maybe Elliot Anderson, I guess. Which I don't like them as a pair, but I think.
Would you say? Are you thinking Wharton and Anderson are like mobile? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, if we got those 2, I think that'd be pretty good. But I
Anderson
think
and Wharton,
and Anderson and Wharton, that'd be pretty good. But that'd be 200 plus million on just those 2.
No, I think so. I think Wharton's gonna go for like 90 with maybe.
So?
Yeah, maybe 10 like very realistic add-ons is what I think Wharton goes for. Because the problem I see with Wharton is that you look at the benchmark, right? Rice just went for 100 million 2 seasons ago. He's not better than Rice.
Okay.
He's not better than Rice right now. Like Rice, when he went for 100 million, I didn't believe it at all. I was like, listen, he won the Conference League with West Ham. But the way he's come on and he plays for Arsenal, the problem with Rice is that he's got a little bit of Maguire in him in terms of he looks like a fridge when he turns, right? But the amount of value he's provided in that team is next level, right? They're not the team they are without Rice in that team.
But is it just because of corner kicks, though? Because I think Rice is...
No, corners, free kicks, and also in general, just the way he... plays with the rest of the team. He executes the instructions. He's a very like coachable player, right? And I'm not saying Wharton's a bum, by the way. I'm talking about 10 million less than Rice. So I rate him highly, and he's also not as old as Rice was, so he's not the full finished article yet, right? So those are the reasons I would say that 90 plus 10 is a fair price. What Crystal Palace will want for him is a different argument.
Yeah, my only issue is Crystal Palace. I don't think would sell Wharton for.
I don't think they've been a difficult selling club, though.
No.
Where's the evidence in them being a difficult selling club?
There's an impetus for them to sell. So you have to understand the dynamics of what Palace are looking like going into post-January window, because they're going to be losing Gahey on a free. They're not going to be getting rid of him in January. They're going to be trying to entice as many bidders as possible for their most liquid assets, which would be right now Wharton. I would even say Munoz has a decent opportunity if they can cash in on him and then kind of recycle. Matata, I don't think is going to move anywhere, and I think he enjoys being kind of like the talismanic figure.
I just want to say I'm glad we didn't get Mateta because he's one of the
Oh my
biggest
gosh.
underperformers of XG this season. You look at his finishing, guys. That game, Premier League made a video about like, oh, he broke the record for XG, bro. That's not a record you want to be on unless you've scored 5 goals in a game, right? Because he had the chances to score 5 goals and he scored 3 from them. And so, listen, getting a hat trick is great, but if you look at this season, Crystal Palace has created almost 20 XG and scored like 14 goals or something, right?
I think it would have been very similar to Wout's kind of stint
Vaghorst?
with us. Yes.
I mean, I would put him better than Vaghorst, but
in terms of ability, yes, but and obviously attacking prowess. But with regards to like, we were really kind of like putting him on this like platform of, oh, look at the link up play, look at this. We would have been doing that for Mateta, but if we're already putting so much pressure on a young striker like Šeško, I think Mateta wouldn't have been able to fill the boots of the number 9 at United.
But are we arguing that I think Mateta is better than Sesko
without a
right
doubt.
now?
But
Right
what
now,
I'm saying is,
yeah.
No, I don't. I
You
just
don't think so?
I don't.
Because I genuinely, if you put Sesko in Crystal Palace, I don't think he scores the same number of goals as he scores.
No, Nelson, I disagree with that. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you why I disagree with that because Palace play a very, very rigid mid-block system and very heavy on the counterattack. So the chances they're creating are very often on a man-to-man sort of advantage, right? Where they're either 3v2, 4v3, something like that going up, and then they're creating these high XG chances. And Šeško has overperformed his XG, whereas Mateta has underperformed his XG. If you look at his Bundesliga record, he scored 27 goals from 17 XG or something like that, right? So I think he does better than Mateta in this Palace team. The difference that we have is we're not as mature in terms of our journey compared to where they are, and we're also trying to play a bit more, let's say, fancy style of football. And their fans, their team is not requesting us to do, them to do as much as we're trying to do.
I think the reason why I say Mateta is better is I look at his overall game. I'm not just looking at XG. I think his attributes in terms of bringing players into play, holding up the ball, all of that, I think it's clear. But in my opinion, I think he's a much better dribbler than Sesko. I think you can argue scoring. You can say Sesko is a better finisher. But in terms of overall, I think Mateta is better. I think
he's 28. He's 28, right?
That's the
and
only reason I
Šeško's
didn't want him.
22. Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't want him
fair
is his
enough.
age. Yeah, but I think if you look at him, Mateta's brought problems to every single centre back. I think the question, Sesko has clearly has performed very well in his first season. I think next season is when we really start evaluating.
Nelson, I also think we're looking at the benefit of hindsight as well. We've seen Mateta.
Well, Sean, one thing I want to say, and then I want to bring Rishi in because he's on his last legs here. He's about to go to sleep. But Nelson, one thing I will say about Mateta is how many seasons has he played in the Premier League? Right?
Yeah,
at least like 2 or 3.
No, it's 5 seasons.
5 seasons. Yeah. He's played 5 seasons. So he's been here since he was 23, and Šeško is not even 23 yet. He's 22. This is his first season. So to say that is kind of really undervaluing potential, whereas for the same reason, arguably, we want Baleba in this team, which is we see the potential, right? So I think that's unfair to say that. And for the finishing is I would say if you're ranking characteristics for a striker, the first thing you want to look at is finishing, positioning in the box, things like that. And hold up play is very close second, especially as a target man. And there's way more potential in Šeško. And right now, if you want to say in one game, if I wanted to pick somebody and you want to say Mateta's better, there's so many mitigating circumstances for that, though, that he's played 5 seasons in the Premier League, right? And it's took him 5 seasons to get to where he is. So I think that's a little, let's say you're right, but also, based on the circumstances, it's not really making a strong point.
I want to hear Rishi first before I go forward because Rishi might actually sleep. To be fair, is it there?
Nelson,
Not while you're live.
I was actually asleep, and I just opened my eyes out of like suddenly opened my eyes. I had a premonition that Nelson is live, and
There we go.
I actually because my wild take radar just went off the charts, and I knew Nelson has to be live, so I came on the stream and I saw that you're actually live.
Yeah.
So I said if Nelson can take a break from his job as a air traffic controller and come on the stream, then I can definitely come and say hi.
There we
So
go.
Nelson, my man, I'm here only for you.
I'm grateful that you're here for me though. That's the one because you were gonna say a hot take last time, but then I don't think you finished it. I was
No,
waiting
I
for
did.
your hot
I
take.
did finish it, but
No, he did
you
say it,
went
but-
with the crazier
did you?
take.
Oh, we went with the crazier take. Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, Rishi,
So-
what did you want to say now though? Like based on what we're saying.
These numbers that I hear, right, and I've been thinking Baleba we thought was worth 100 million when we first were linked to him. Brighton wanted something like 120, and we thought it was too crazy. We thought, let's make it an 80 plus 10 deal. Maybe we can put together a 75 plus 15 deal. I think we can all agree that he's probably worth that 75, and that too with add-ons. Now we all see that Anderson is hot this season and Wharton is hot this season. Everyone thinks that maybe they're worth a 90 plus 10. We wait some more time. Who's to say that they won't look like, you know, they're not worth that amount? Because if Anderson is linked with us, we say that he's worth 70. And Marinakis does a madness and he says, no, I want 120 because he's crazy. That dude is not rational, right? He's like a Daniel Levy
he'll
with a
want to
doner
get-
kebab in his hands.
Sorry.
He'll want all the money. He'll want all the money back that he spent on the 5 managers he's gonna sack by the end of the season.
Yeah,
just
exactly. So there's a good chance that Anderson doesn't get a move next season either. And he thanks Marinakis 5 times in 3 minutes for giving him a new contract. Like like Gibbs White was giving that interview calling him Mr. Marinakis 5 times in 3 minutes. You might see that with Anderson too. And he also has 3 years left at the end of this season on his contract, right? He's got a contract till 2029. So Marinakis isn't in a hurry to offload him.
I think the Anderson question is, Rishi, that, what happens with England at the World Cup? Because if they have a great tournament and he's starting for them, then it's going to be, over 100 million. And that is definitely not a price I'm willing to pay for him. Because
No, dude, it's
see
death,
physicality.
taxes, and England shitting the bed at a World Cup. Those are the
the
three
worst part
certainties.
is, Rishi, the worst part is that them getting to the semifinals is going to be, it's coming home, all the way.
Just getting out of groups is
Yeah,
enough
getting
to
out of the
pay
group
a
stages
20
is gonna be
million, surcharge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I'd like to pose a question. I think, okay, if we looked at our midfielder options right now, we got what is it? So not at the club. Who were linked with? Baleba, Wharton, Anderson, and Buwadi,
Hillman.
I guess, and
Hillman.
Hillman and Stiller. Okay, based on current performance this year, respective of each of their leagues, I would say the best performer game on game would have to be between Wharton and Anderson. I'd say if you look at potential, the ones with the most athleticism, technique, and could be the greatest are probably going to be Buwadi and Baleba. And then if you're looking at what is the best fit right now for Casemiro versus Bruno, I think if you're looking at the Bruno replacements, you're probably looking at more of and with respect to Amorim's system, you're probably going to be looking more at Angelo Stiller. You're going to be looking at Wharton. And I would people keep saying that Anderson is the Casemiro replacement. I see him more of like the Bruno replacement.
I
in my
agree.
opinion.
I'll
agree.
say this. Sean, Nelson, Rishi. A few people said it on the video that I made as well. The reason why I think he's more of a Casemiro replacement is that I think Baleba was the Bruno replacement. they were looking at Baleba as a Bruno replacement because Bruno plays a lot more as the box-to-box player. He's the one who's running a lot more than Casemiro, whereas Casemiro stays deeper and he's playing more as the DLP, right? And I think Anderson doesn't have the energy to go up and down the pitch. In that case, you might want to say he's not good enough for the team, which I totally understand. But I think a Baleba Anderson combo or a Baleba Wharton combo works really well in this team. And I think Baleba is the player that plays off the left, giving us that energy going up and down. On the right-hand sided player stays a bit more at the back because he wants the team to be more of a diamond when we're building up, right? So the one midfielder will often go up into the 10. The other midfielder will play as the base of that diamond, and then the two wing backs will be the left and right side of that diamond, or the 10s will be the left and right hand side. So that's why I was thinking that Anderson's more of the Casemiro replacement and not the Bruno replacement. Because if we get Anderson to replace Bruno and we get a Stila or a Wharton to play on the right hand side, we don't have enough legs in the midfield again. Right. And that's why I really like Baleba, even though it's AFCON, even though it's Brighton asking for crazy money. And, you know, they're probably sending a text message to Chelsea being like, do you want to just, you know, get into this race and increase the bid just so that we can get a bit more money? Because
they'll send a classic 3 a.m. you up question mark sort of.
Exactly. Yeah.
But my issue with Baleba is not the potential. My issue is this current form is not bad. It's woeful. He's had 20% of the games he's played, he's been passable. Okay. At United, there's no room for hiding. We had one of the best defensive midfielders of all time come to our club after a stellar first season, in my opinion, and a bad patch of games, which admittedly it was pretty bad too. He barely came out, and that was just due to the integrity of his strength and character. So,
sorry, who are we talking about?
He's talking about
Casemiro.
Oh,
I'm talking about Casemiro came to our
Yeah.
club. So I'm saying if we had one of the best center defensive midfielders of all time come to our club, go through a bad patch, and just barely emerge on the other side, I don't know how a kid.
Well, Sean, that was also because Ten Hag was playing suicidal like tactics.
Yeah, 100%. 3-1-6. Yeah, totally good.
Yeah,
Totally good.
we had Eriksson playing next to Casemiro, and even Eriksson was like on his last legs, you know, after the heart stuff that happened to him. But go on, Nelson. What you wanted to say something?
Because I'm Baleba's agent apparently, but Baleba was injured at the start of this season.
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to get to.
Good. No,
Yeah, and-
that's a good defense.
Yeah,
We're not
and
gonna-
has a knee injury currently. So to me, it's the way I look at. I've been highly rating Baleba for a very long time. The two people I've highly rated, Baleba and Fefren Thuram at Juventus. I was pissing myself when he left. Was it Nice?
That's a great chat, by the way.
Yeah.
It's another player that I really wanted
Yeah.
to come to United, but again, the issue I had was, you know, coming from a big name family and a comfortable household growing up, like how much hunger does he have? Was the question.
I felt that with Marcus Thuram, and look at how well he freaking played. I wanted the younger one now. I'm like, okay, you guys, and his size.
He's built like a tank.
Dude, he's a
built
tank.
like a tank.
He would walk into our team, no problem. 6'4", pacey, could dribble. Either way. So I rated both of them, and I wanted both of them at United, thinking that'd be the perfect pairing. The reason why I agree with you on I want Baleba because I do think Baleba is Bruno's replacement. And I would have preferred, to me, the next guy has to be Wharton. Stiller is the best passer of all of them, has no physicality. Absolutely nothing. We would be a sieve the moment he joins. And I love him, but I'm like, he would have to be in a midfield 3.
I think he's an amazing player in a different setup, in my
exactly.
He could he could be a good squad player though. I don't think he's not a starting player, and I think I think his release clause is like 30 million, and they're trying to get him on a new contract so the release clause goes up. Something like that. So if we're paying a 30 million, because the question is, Nelson, what we've seen, the big issue we've seen with Ugarte is that as soon as Casemiro goes up, it's hot potato time in the midfield. Like, let's give the ball away. I can't hold this ball, right? And he's scared of the ball almost. And I feel like having someone like Stila come on in the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes, playing the cup games, that is something we could live with. And let's not forget this Amorim system. we haven't seen him problem solve beyond the current shape of the team. So something that Rishi said earlier in the stream is, how about we have Mount and Mainu playing at the right 10 and the wing back, in which case we don't have a lot of pace on that side, and we might have to have Sheshko running down the channel and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So we could see some, because right now it's a very symmetrical system where both the left and the right hand side are more or less doing the same thing, right? Where you have two pacey wingbacks, you have tens who are dropping deep and can dribble past the teams, and things like that. So we could see some sort of evolution from Amorim as well, depending on the players he has. And I think with Stila, he could try to see if we could do some more defensive work from elsewhere in the team or something like that, as long as he's not a first team player. Like if he's a starter for us, then I agree with everything you said. I think the concerns are valid.
But could we actually sell him the, hey, you're a starting player for Stuttgart. You're probably going to be a starting player for most teams, but you're going to be on the bench at United.
Absolutely, dude.
So?
Have you seen
Stuttgart
Stena
to
Lomans
United,
had like
come on.
50,000 followers on Instagram, bro, before he came to us, and now he's got like almost 1 million. He's being talked about like Schmeichel. You don't think Stila would enjoy that?
Yeah, but I think Lamans, let's be honest, people like Lamans and them, I think they knew they were walking in. I think Stiller, the thing about Stiller is I can see him playing so well in the FA Cup, in the Cups, and in Europe. I think in Europe he could be a starter. In the Prem, I just think his legs would be like, he'd just be destroyed. And yeah, if we can sell him to sit on the bench, I'm with you. I'm 100% there.
So he's currently making 87,000 euros base and 20k bonus from Stuttgart. So he's being paid well.
Yeah.
So it's not really a pay thing for him, because I don't think we offer him much more than that. At most, maybe like
100.
maybe 100 base and
120,
20k bonus or something like that.
Mhm.
So look, my thought process is the only thing that's not working for us is, does Bayern Munich just look at him and say, look, this guy's getting older. What's it called? Goretzka is not really playing for us anymore. We can't really rely on Kimmich for years and years to come, because he's getting older too. Maybe Stila just walks into the Bayern Munich team and wants to play there. But I would say, listen, he's a great player, and I think what he doesn't give you defensively, he can give you with the ball, right? You look at the Barcelonas of the world, man. Pedri's not, he's pretty lightweight, but he can run a midfield. Same with De Jong. He's kind of lightweight, but he's press resistant. He can run a midfield. So he just gives us something a little bit different, right? And I think that could be valuable. Plus, let's not forget, he can be a DLP. He could also play in place of Bruno, especially when we're not getting him for too much money. And if we wanted to rotate him in those midfield positions, I think he could work well. But in my opinion, if we can find a European player or a French, international who can be more like Baleba, I would love that, because I think Wharton and Anderson are kind of similar to each other. I think everybody would agree here. But for Baleba, I haven't heard a single other name that can do what Baleba does in terms of being a box-to-box player. Maybe Root
Edison?
wants to tell us something. Root's just unmuted himself.
No, well, so one thing that I think we need to start doing again is going back to the scouting. So the French League one thing that they do pretty well is they scout pretty deep. So that's why you have the B team, almost like C team, League Two, and so on and so on. They scout really, really deep. So my point of view on that is actually hot take, Sekou Kone, possibly getting in 15 minutes, 20 minutes by January. That's my point of view. I can see Nelson no problem, but here's the thing about Sekou Kone.
Yeah.
Root, I think he's coming
I-
back from a pretty bad injury. Though.
So Sekou Kone, I believe if we didn't go in for him, Lille was behind, Marseille was behind, PSG was looking at him. Guess what? A year after, it's gonna be like Beleba. So that's what I believe. So I don't think we need to worry much about the midfield. I agree with Beleba, getting Beleba no matter what, because I think the pressure of United going after him might a little bit get into his head too. So I don't mind. Go ahead and spend the money. But after Beleva, if we don't get Wharton or Anderson, I don't mind promoting Sekou Kone and maybe one extra midfielder from the academy. just for now,
You
not for next
you
year.
make yeah, you make a very interesting point. And listen, I don't think Nelson is poo-pooing you in the sense that he doesn't think Kone is good enough.
No.
It's more the fact that he's got an injury and he's still a U team player, right? So
Yeah.
whatever you think
Have you?
about Baleba being crap, he's gonna be better than a U team player that's being
Oh yeah,
promoted
yeah.
because of yeah,
Have you seen Sekukone lately? He bulked up a little bit compared to
yeah.
when he first joined.
Yeah. Well, he's 176 meters, so
He's
1.76
short.
meters. So that's like
Yeah.
yeah, he's pretty short.
Yeah.
That'd be the only other thing.
That's
And then also
fine,
if
mine.
he's a Malian international, and we're talking about going and getting a Cameroonian international to play in the
Yes,
midfield, and then
Sekukone, he's only playing for the I think the U19 right now, so it's not a big
Yeah.
deal.
But if you
May-
promote him
may-
to the first team, he's going to go to the main. He's going to move
Well,
up
have
to
you
the first team.
We
have
have
you
to see
seen
him play first because he's
midfield?
still been
Yeah.
injured.
True.
Have you seen the list of the like the player from Mali midfield? He would be
It's
like the
insane.
seventh choice. So yeah,
no,
I think
but
we'll be
if we're
fine.
saying he's gonna become as good as Baleba,
Yeah.
then in the future he's
Then
gonna play in the
he's going to
AFCON.
move up. Exactly.
Right. But the point is, I think my point is, can we go ask Mbumo to go play for France and Ahmad to go play for some European country, because Mbumo grew up in France, right? He's originally
Oh, yeah.
played for the under 21s for France as well, and I think Mazraoui grew up in the Netherlands, I believe. As well,
Yes.
so maybe we can just, our best bet is to just ask them to switch nationality and not go to AFCON. Because I don't know how we're going to solve
Maybe
it.
just ask FIFA to keep the AFCON in the summer. That's it.
But
Yeah,
just ask Onana to just keep playing as he's doing, so we'll
yeah,
be fine.
we've got our double
Yeah.
agent playing for Cameroon.
Onana's going to shit the bed. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
He
be honest.
retired. Let's not forget, guys. He retired from the
Yep.
Cameroon international team in the middle of a World Cup because he wanted to play in midfield. He wanted to play in midfield.
that
and
what?
The coach was he essentially he kept coming out, not actually started midfield, but play in
Yeah.
midfield as the goalkeeper. So he kept coming out like, basically halfway through the pitch, and he was trying to like be the deep lying midfielder. So maybe if we don't get Anderson or Wharton, we get Onana and play him in the midfield.
What happened
and
to
that's
our
what we
links
do.
with Edison? Edison, the Atalanta
Atalanta?
midfielder. Yeah. What happened to
It
him?
died down, dude. Those Edison links have died down long
Yeah,
back.
like,
They weren't
completely.
even
Wanted
hot
60.
in the summer. It wasn't even
Yeah.
hot
He's
in the
saying
summer.
why. He's saying
No.
why, and Nelson's asking why.
Because he's still like one of the he's still performing well. I don't understand why.
So
What
my
happened?
my guess is the Edison links died down the moment Amorim came in. My guess is that Amorim doesn't fancy him because we were hotly linked to him in 2024 when this dude was Ten Hag was still here,
Yeah.
and also the whole recruitment structure has undergone a big shift. Because what used to happen is we used to have these names that the scouts or the recruitment team would bring up, and for 2 3 summers they used to kept getting linked to us all over again,
Mhm.
right? So there has been a big overhaul there. I think Vivel is taking care of recruitment now, along with Wilcox, and Amorim has a big say. I think
And
Amorim
also,
doesn't fancy Ederson. That's the logic I can link there.
don't forget who went to Atalanta to be their director of global development, John Murtaugh, the guy who notoriously
What?
shit.
Are you
No
serious?
I didn't
No
know that.
way.
Yeah.
No
What?
way.
Yes, Jonathan.
I'm about to
Murtaugh.
change the title
Yes.
of this call right now and just tell the world.
Dude, are
that
you
this
are
is
you
what's happening.
serious?
I swear on my life.
Wait, how
I
did he
swear on
get that gig?
Listen, some people fail.
Oh, dude,
upwards.
he is.
I
That
told
is
you.
Dude,
insane.
no way.
So
No
That
way.
too, back in April. So he got sacked from
Yes.
us and basically went
Yes.
straight to Atlanta.
failed upward. So
And wait-
Ineos are not going to be rushing to
Oh yeah, to
reopen
get anyone
any
from him.
negotiation that this guy had already put us back for. a
That's
good time.
such a good shout, man. That's a great shout.
Oh, that's
I didn't know.
brilliant pull, man. Brilliant
Wow.
pull. I had no idea about this.
Yeah,
You know,
When you guys
I was
talk
just
about
thinking
Edison, I
a
said,
few
"Oh,
days.
That's gone. That's gone.
I was just thinking a couple of days back, dude. I wonder how these people get a job at United who would not be employed at a bloody Baskin Robbins outside any other team, outside any other club. And John Murtaugh, oh my God. You know, look at his face. You know what he's always like. He's always looked like the kind of guy who would get scammed on holiday. Yeah, that kind of a face. Yeah, he goes to Egypt and he loses the lease on his house. That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
He's the talking head for all of those fraud advertisements. He said, "Yeah, I got scammed."
He
Don't know
also
how that-
reminds me of like Pillsbury Doughboy for some reason, you know,
Yeah,
like
very
I
soft.
Yeah.
Not the
Yeah.
guy you really want to be leading your negotiations for the biggest club in the world.
look at
Yeah.
the horror in this man's eyes as he's shaking his
What
hands.
did we
Because
just
he
do?
knows, yeah, they're
Who's
about to
the-
sign. They're about to pay 64 million to sign Hoyland back in front of Napoli, and give us all the money back. Maybe this is going to be the equivalent to Onana at AFCON for us, right? Where Atalanta starts buying our players now. But that's crazy, dude. Where did you read this? Like,
That's
I-
insane.
nobody's
Yeah, I
talking
didn't
about
see
this.
that.
I've known about this. The moment I keep it's like I've got a little black book of all the people that I want to fail. You got Ed Woodward, you got Glazer and Tom, you got Murtaugh, you got everyone that's anybody that's ever been named an adjunct CEO for us or anything. I've already got them. And I
So
follow
wait,
everything on
is
LinkedIn.
You're a
Ten
head
Hag
watch.
going to Wolves? Are you gonna break the Ten Hag to Wolves news?
To be honest, I don't give a shit where Ten Hag goes. He
Oh.
can fall in the river.
Yeah.
He can fall in the
I'll-
river in
I'll-
Netherlands for all I care. Like that
I'm gonna
guy.
be honest. Nothing made me so happy than how quickly he got fired by Bayer Leverkusen. That was one of
Two
I was
games.
so happy.
Yeah,
That guy
SDG.
destroyed us. Absolutely.
Well, so
He did. Yeah.
Oh.
So the same thing that he did with United, where he only want some structure of certain players to be almost assigned by United. He tried to do the same thing over there, and they say nope. Here, this is not gonna work. So that's why he got fired.
Yeah. What's what was I? There was some dude that I saw recently. Anyways, that thought will probably come back to me. But Ten Hag, dude, I think with him, what he gave Liverpool like 40 million for Kwanzaa, right? And I knew from that minute because he was at Leverkusen when
Yeah.
they signed Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this guy is smoking the good stuff because he doesn't seem like the type of guy who would have malicious intent toward a club. But then all the stuff that's come out about like Anthony being working with the same agent as him, and then us paying over the line for Anthony to get that deal done, and then us also twerking for De Jong for so long, and then
Yeah.
only to get Casemiro. It's a lot of shady stuff.
Andy,
man. And
that also makes me think maybe Murtaugh had some under the table things going on with Atalanta because we
Yes,
paid
exactly.
80 million euro for Rasmus Højlund. He wasn't worth 40 million when we signed him. He had
Yeah.
one good season where he scored 9 league goals or 10 league goals for Atalanta one season. And then we also remember he's the one who bought Ahmad when he was 18. We paid 37 million for him, 37 million pounds. That's 21 million guaranteed and 61 million in add-ons.
Rishi,
Yeah.
Murtaugh was behind Anthony. They at
Yeah.
Ajax, they had him internally valued at what? 35
20
million pounds.
Yeah, it was
20 million.
20 million.
Whatever
It was-
that was.
Yeah.
We ended up giving him 80. What?
That's
This
ridiculous.
is just
Also,
Yeah.
no,
Beyond that.
earlier in the window, let's not forget Lissandro, guys. We overpaid on Lissandro as well.
Yeah.
We paid 60
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Lissandro. We should have paid something like 40 had we
40.
gone in earlier because Arsenal was going in a lot earlier and we
Mhm.
dilly-dallied so much that combined between Anthony and Lissandro, I think we overpaid by 60 mil for those two.
Yeah. And by the way,
and-
Højlund signed to SEG prior to the transfer from Atalanta to United, so that Ten Hag, via his connect, because SEG is his agent's agency, so that he could get
his
more.
agency, yes.
Exactly.
I think I need to rename my channel to Footyzilla, you know, like CoffeeZilla who does the
Yeah.
expose
Yeah, no.
stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I
following the
guarantee
money.
if we follow that money pool, that must have been they made so much money during Ten Hag's reign. Like
Yeah.
it is ridiculous how much money.
Well,
they made.
let's. I'm just zooming out from a bit from like. So Ten Hag is one of the biggest frauds in world football
Yes.
because you look at it. He came to our club. Okay, talk about one of the most uninspiring managers. He turned the mood in the club was turned foul. He let Sancho run amok. We now find out he's been footing the bill for Saweetie's basically prostitution.
I loved that
circuit.
so much.
Like And
Wait,
he
what?
sent
Yeah, you don't know
Okay.
that? Oh,
What happened?
well,
Wait, is
I'll let
this
him
is
speak.
this
I'll
is
let him
this safe
cook.
for work?
He's
Is
cooking.
this
No,
safe for
Well,
work
this-
stuff?
this-
well, a slow down. As a lawyer, as the people, someone that works in the law firm, allegedly.
Allegedly,
Allegedly.
allegedly, Saweetie showed up to the Chelsea game, and then the manager came out a week later or a month later, whatever it was, and came out and said that she tried to hook up Saweetie with Jadon Sancho. Sancho
so
gets smitten, but I'll let Sean. He has more the details.
So yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
as somebody who went to law school and got 178 on the LSAT, I'll tell you what had happened based on what we know so far. So Saweetie's management, which is a very general manager, decided to provide her services to the client. The client in name is Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho had Saweetie on the pitch at Stamford Bridge,
Chelsea.
showing
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
and people are like, "What the heck is this collab?" Whatever. So then there's videos of him running up to her. Saweetie
Hugging
doesn't
her.
even know who the heck
Yeah.
Jadon Sancho is at this moment.
Yeah.
And then allegedly, the client and then the service provider fell in love, to the extent that now the manager had been cut out of her due for introducing, and there's an hourly payment for the time spent, whatever. So Saweetie had convinced Jadon to not pay the manager. Fine, there's a falling out. To the extent that now Jadon has a tattoo of Saweetie's name
On the
on
back
his
of his
neck,
head.
on the
Yeah,
back
That
of
is
his head.
true.
Yeah,
That one is true.
This is true. Okay.
yeah. You can see it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. and just a reminder, this is all
Wait,
during
hold on.
the
Why is there a fee involved at all
There's a finder's
Well,
fee.
so allegedly,
finder's
it
fee.
looks
Go
like
ahead.
a circle
for
of
setting them up
things.
like a
Yeah.
matchmaking fee?
Yes. Yeah.
if you
I
want
don't
No,
to
no, 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 no,
matchmaking.
not a matchmaking.
Not a
That
matchmaking.
part is. This is PG now. You'd have to move to the
Okay,
next level.
okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
okay,
like a
I got it.
hookup.
All right.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
anyway,
got it.
carry
so,
on.
but so,
Yeah.
so this is
Guys,
so the extent of
Poppy
what I'm
PK
saying
is an 18-year-old fan. Let's keep this family friendly, okay? This is
Hey,
pure journalism.
Yeah.
he just turned 18, so
It'll be fine.
it's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
So,
But carry on, Sean.
to get away from just the granularity of all this, this all occurred underneath Ten Hag's watch.
Yeah.
Okay, all of the things, and this is also in accordance with letting Rashford go on the piss, gambling early mornings,
Yes.
and then not showing up. He had no control whatsoever over the club. Couldn't even convince his Ajax youth team that he's the one that gave all these players their platform. They didn't even want to come to play under it. So talk about a bad communicator, bad manager. Wherever he goes, oh my gosh, that's just the underlying layer beyond the whole SEG collusion CoffeeZilla aspect of it all. Like, this guy is a fraud.
But
Absolute fraud.
I'm just thinking here. When he sent Sancho to the Netherlands for 3 months,
Yeah.
do you think by Netherlands he went to Amsterdam?
Red light
Yeah.
district. That's where he said. He said, just get your rocks off. Sorry, Poppy.
but so who brought in Sancho? Was it under Ten Hag or was it before Ten Hag?
No, it was under
It
Oli.
was Ollie.
It was Oli,
It
right?
was all.
Because if I remember, the reports came out.
That goes
later.
back to the other fraud we spoke about, which is John Murtaugh.
John
Yeah.
Murtaugh, Ed Woodward. Exactly.
Yeah.
We can do things in the window that other clubs couldn't even believe. Yeah,
But
sure.
if I remember Sancho, apparently our scouts had noted that Sancho was a terrible trainer.
Professional.
And
yes.
yeah, like he was a horrible professional. And we just ignored that and bought him regardless.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was playing
Yeah.
at Dortmund. He was playing COD up into 2-3 a.m. on
Yeah, and
training
FIFA.
days, match days. Would
Yeah, yeah.
never show up on time. And that's the thing. We're seeing Dortmund that the funnel for youth like prodigies coming out of England and other
Mhm.
clubs going to Dortmund. We're finding that's more of like a community college now because there
Yeah.
is no structure whatsoever. This whole Job thing,
I was
Like-
gonna say that. I was gonna
like,
transition. to
what
that.
is?
Oh,
what?
thank
how-
God
how-
we missed that. Holy
Thank God. Thank God. So we
I don't
want to
go anywhere near him, by the way. And people are talking about. I think Indy Kayla, by the way, since we were talking about him earlier. I think it was Indy Kayla that was talking about Vinny Jr. wanting out of Real Madrid and we should go get him. Guys,
No, we don't want it.
Let's please.
would-
I don't care if he
let's
has 10
learn.
Ballon d'Ors.
We
We're
don't
not
want
going
him. We
anywhere
don't.
near Vinny Jr. Yes.
I love Vinny though. But I know he'd be a headache.
Bro,
He'd be an actual issue.
we
But I
don't
love
have
the
the
kid.
money to pay for. This is the equivalent of getting prime Ronaldo into this team. You think he went after the chef?
Yeah.
Maybe a
Yeah.
year 5, year 6, year 7 Amorim, after establishing a winning culture, could rein
Yes.
in a player like that. That's okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
not
exactly.
a year 2. We just got our
Yeah, he'd
got
destroy
this-
us.
Got this. Yeah, exactly.
He'd walk through
And
everyone.
So that's something in which we always have to keep in mind with a lot of these transfers. You got to look at what type of money they're on, what their expectations are, what
Mhm.
they view United as well. Because if we're just a filler for them to go to anywhere they please, and they think, well, my tenure at United is not going to tarnish me because I'll just get the elevated profile. We don't want that. We just don't.
Guys, but
Also,
the thing is that
let's not forget- Yeah,
we
go
can
ahead,
never have these players that play for Real Madrid or Bayern Munich or Barcelona, all these top players, because they're on crazy money. Alvaro Carreras is on 180 grand a week.
Yep.
Crazy.
He's on
Is that
crazy money.
what?
Yep.
He's on crazy money. Yeah, he's on 180 grand. They paid 50 million euros to sign him, probably another 10 to his agent and him as signing on fees. And now
Mhm.
they're paying 180 grand a week to him as salary.
Yeah, but
So
the
it's-
question is, Rishi, had we kept him, he wouldn't have been asking for that money, right?
No, I'm
it's-
not saying that Alvaro Carreras per se. Vinny Jr. is taking like 600, 700K a week at least.
Yeah, probably more than
right?
that. Yeah.
Probably more than that. And Mbappe again on crazy money, right? So we can never sign players like that because Real Madrid is a stratospheric club. They operate on a different level. I think their annual revenues are 1.2 billion, right? And because
Yeah.
they're
Rishi,
fan owned.
Also, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but also,
go on.
Jim knows this. Jim knows that there is a direct correlation between performance output on the pitch and average wage. And there's been just like we've talked so much about the first weeks, there's been an underperformance based on how much XG we're producing. There's an underperformance based on how much wage we're giving out to the top earners and their actual performance on the pitch. Sure, we've been a little bit more reversion to the mean with Casemiro. He's played a little bit better, and I'm glad that he's integrated one of our top earners in. But we can't be paying 350 grand a week to Casemiro and then having
This is
That's
this is
insane, yeah.
Alvaro Fernandez's salary, by the way, 172 base and 43 bonus.
That's
So he's making
insane.
250.
More-
he's
it's
he's
more
making
than-
more money than Cunha. He's making more money than Cunha and
Cunha.
Mbumo.
yeah.
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 Ridiculous.
So
And he's a good player, though.
I don't think we won't be able to grow into a club that can get back up there. But when Old Trafford's leaking, our net's leaking because we had Onana in there. We've got no structure whatsoever with our attacking play. We only got Ahmad and Mbumo and then Inshallah. And we don't have any other, dependable ways to get ourselves back into that real profit generating revenue of putting exciting football on the pitch, fans out of their seats, and getting us back to glory. You got to then just go into just bootstrap it, cut off all the fat, cut off the waste, and get back into a dependable system, which is why I always said, hey, if we lose Amorim, we can't go through this another 2-3 times because we'll get relegated. We will 100%
Yeah.
get relegated. Even with a Deitch-esque manager, we will.
yeah,
That's so true.
guys, we're approaching 2 hours here. I want to have this last discussion and hear from you guys about how crap Thomas the Frank engine has been this season. Because 0.05 XG against Chelsea at home. And this is the guy that some fans in our fan base were looking after the first 3 or 4 games and saying we should have gotten Frank instead, Premier League proven manager and all that. And by the way, how is Brentford doing since he's left, since Mbumo left, since Vissa left, right? How well are Brentford doing this season to have
With a
beaten both
set-piece
Liverpool and
coach
United?
manager.
Exactly. The set piece coach's first full-time job is doing, you would argue, a better job than Frank has done in a couple of seasons. Because a few seasons ago, Brentford was really good under Thomas Frank, but the last couple of seasons, not so much. So,
Guys,
how are you
let's
guys
not
feeling about the
slander.
Tottenham game?
Let's not slander set piece coaches because a set piece coach has taken Arsenal to the top of the
Yeah,
table.
I've been saying that. I've been saying the set piece is a better
Yeah.
coach right now. Let's if we had
Yeah,
one, would
but-
be a lot higher. To be fair.
This football
Yeah, because we are crap at defending our set pieces, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
No,
need
but
one.
how are we
Put some
feeling about
respect
the
on the name.
Tottenham game? Give us your opinion. Do you guys think we're gonna win this? Let's start with Shant.
So, my issue with Tottenham is they always turn up against us in some way. They'll find some form of unity after this abhorrent behavior by Jed Spence and Mickey Van de Ven towards their manager. I don't find Frank to be inspiring in any way. I think when we had interviewed him in the offseason, there was like just they didn't find him for all the things that I guess like Ten Hag was. You're going to get a redux of that in Frank. I think he vastly overperformed due to Mbumo when he was at Brentford. So to have him be at a failure club like Tottenham, yeah, I mean, it fits, but we're tied on points with them. They don't create anything whatsoever.
They're the biggest overperformer of
Yes.
expected points this season so far, and Leeds should be doing better than them according to expected points.
We'll get a brace from Sheshko in that game, and we'll
Let's
win that
go.
game. I have no issue.
You just made Papi Piqué very happy for the second time after the Saweetie news, because he's gonna be digging that stuff up. Yeah. Anyways, Papi, are you still watching, bro? Like, I know it's pretty late in the UAE there, but anyways, yeah. So the thing with Tottenham and Thomas Frank is I think this is very much the second coming of Nuno for Tottenham, where they got very upset about the style of play like very quickly, and he was sacked pretty soon after. And the two of his players didn't want to shake his hands. I think Van de Ven and somebody else after the game didn't want to shake his hands. Jed Spence and yeah, Papi Piqué is watching. So you're looking at a situation where it's going to be a drab of a game, right, against Tottenham. And I think I would be very happy with the victory in that game. Is it away or is it at home? It's away, right?
No,
Is it away?
it's away.
So
Yeah. So if we can win that game like 1-0, 2-0, I'd be very happy. I'd be beyond happy because I think that's a very good marker of success for us. And all those people that wanted Frank over Amorim can just finally shut up for good. But I am a little worried, though. I don't know how it's going to go.
So Tottenham in their last 20 games at home, they have 4 wins, 4 draws, and 12 losses. So they are terrible at home. I think we have a great shot, a brilliant shot of getting 3 points and finally ending this unbelievable run of losses we have against them. They beat us 4 times last season. I don't know how.
By the way, Sunderland drew with Everton today, 1-1, just I guess a couple minutes ago. So they're 4th in the table right now.
Oh,
Had
damn.
they won, they would have gone to 2nd above Man City.
Yeah.
So that's crazy work from them.
That's the thing about this league, and it's so competitive because I think it's a 3-point gap between 3rd and 11th place. 4-point gap.
There's a 4-point gap between 2nd and 11th.
My God, that's crazy. That is crazy.
So
10
basically, a
games
win
into
and a
the
draw.
season, it's mass. It's like such a competitive league, right? And every season you have these couple of outliers. You've had Villa who've really dragged themselves up the table. You have Sunderland and all of them. Forest last year, they've all spent 100 plus, 150 plus million pounds. Brighton spent 250 million last season, right? And they've basically remained in the same place. So you absolutely must spend money. And look, in the context of all this money that has been spent, I think we getting from 15th to whatever 8th and then competing for 5th place, that 7-10 place jump, spending basically the same money that Brighton has spent, is a massive achievement by Amorim and by the recruitment team.
I want you to see Bauhaus says, Andy, please do World Cup 2026 analysis in the future. Yes, bro. I will do it. Don't worry. We have other problems before that, like AFCON is what we're talking about here. But if we're looking at the expected points table, guys, other than Arsenal and Man City, look at how different the rest of the league looks, right? Crystal Palace should be 3rd, but they're 9th. And this is one of the reasons I didn't want Mateta, or I don't like Mateta, is because he's a big reason for them underperforming their goals. You're looking at Newcastle being at 13th, right? This is a team. Let's not forget they lost 3-1 to West Ham, guys. One of the most crap teams this season. I don't care that they have Nuno, but they lost 3-1 to West Ham. And then United are pretty much like where we should be, two places below where we should be, or 3 places below where we should be, but about level on where the expected point says. And you look at Brentford, they're supposed to be better than Liverpool. Like, what is happening here, right? Liverpool won against Villa and they're celebrating because Villa wanted to play suicidal tactics at Anfield. But Liverpool is a crap team this year, guys. And honestly, if you want to put some money on United finishing over Liverpool in the league, I think that's you could make some good money with that. Don't put more than $10 because we still have Dallo in the team, but you could make some money there. And look at Bournemouth and Tottenham, 4th and 5th in the table, but they're actually below Leeds. Leeds are 16th, guys, and they're supposed to be above Bournemouth and Tottenham. Even Sunderland massively overperforming their expected points. So the league looks very competitive this year, and it's not going to go on for much longer. So either of two things are going to happen. Either these teams actually start playing better so that they stop underperforming their numbers, or we see reversion to the mean and the expected points table becomes the points table, essentially.
Well, I think Bournemouth will go down in January just because of
AFCON, yeah.
Semenyo. Yeah. Once Semenyo goes, I think they really drop. He's honestly the best player in the league right now, in my opinion. Him and Haaland. Him and Haaland, yeah.
Haaland has 13 goals in 10 games, bro. He's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Friggin' monster, that guy. And then, I think Semenyo goes. I think Tottenham will struggle with Kudus as well, not being there.
True.
He's already
one of their best players.
Struggle too. Mbumo goes, and that's
true.
Goals. Yeah,
that's true. But I do feel like we are slightly better positioned to deal with AFCON just because it's 3 players only, and I have faith in Amorim doing something with it because I can't just sit here and say I'm a believer in Amorim and say, AFCON could be difficult. Because if I feel like he can turn the ship around and be the right man for the long term, I have to also back him to say he's going to problem solve for AFCON. Because that's, again, a situation where we can see what can he do in this position. And it's another, let's say, gauge for us to see how good he is as a coach. And I think that's going to be important. But guys, I'm going to stop it there. It's 2 hours and 6 minutes. I need to go touch some grass. Even though it's cold as all hell. Nelson, what's the weather like around your area, bro?
It's cold. It's super cold. There was a little bit of sun for 5 minutes, and I was excited, and now
it's gone. I had to turn on my studio lights in the room, guys. So that's how cold it is, and it's only 5 p.m. So, and we also had the clock go back yesterday or 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Current temperature.
I think
it's 9 degrees here. Probably a little bit colder for you, Nelson, because usually is. But anyways, guys, you smashed a great conversation, man. Nelson, thanks for hopping on. Rishi, he's probably already asleep. Shant is just kicking off his day. Shant, it's 2 p.m. for Shant and it's 2:30 a.m. for Rishi. We've got 2 people on the call, guys.
3:30. It's 3:30.
It's 3:30. Yeah.
God bless you, Rishi.
13 and a half hours away from each other. And then I think Root is in Ohio, so you're doing okay. I mean, other than the fact that you're in Ohio.
It's 5 p.m.
Yeah. All right. Cool, guys. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much, guys, for everybody that stayed along for so long as well.
Cheers.
I know it's a little bit more of a chill stream. Yeah.
Thanks for this, Andy. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys as well. Thank you so much. I mean it. You guys mean the world to me. You're letting me follow my passion, do something cool, talk about United, talk about the club that we love. And maybe I think the podcast is out tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.